Some UF fans are concerned about how the quarterback battle is going to shake out for the Gators this year. We recently shared our thoughts there. However, there's another position group back there in the backfield that those that are worried seem to be missing. UF has one of the best running back duos in the country in 2022, and that position group is going to be even better in 2023. And it's going to be the key to UF's offensive success. Fans know that, but those two, and a big surprise that fans might not have been expecting, are going to drastically impact what happens for UF this upcoming season. Montrell Johnson Jr., let's start there. 115 rushes for 841 yards. He had 10 touchdowns last season. Listen, this guy is a junior. He came with Napier from Louisiana. He put on a show in the Sun Belt. He has continued to do the same thing once he came to UF. He is really a traditional running back in my mind. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Deshaun Wynn back in my time at UF. He's a little bit of a bigger back. He is a strong, straightforward runner. And he really had a lot of great production for Florida. And then he's partnered with Trevor Etienne, right? He had 118 rushes, 719 yards, 6 touchdowns. He also caught passes in the backfield and returned 17 kicks for almost 500 yards. He's averaging 6.1 yards per touch. Johnson was averaging 5.4 yards a touch. Those are some incredible stats. And Etienne, true sophomore. This guy's a little bit smaller. He's sitting at 5'9", 207. Still great running back sides though, and both have incredible speed. The two of them partnered together is a really dynamic duo. UF had a ton of success last year, and I think that it's going to be even bigger this year. And how do you top over 1,500 combined yards, 16 touchdowns in 2022, and finishing of 2 of the top 13 backs in the SEC in yards per carry? Well, I think Johnson and Etienne are going to carry the majority of the load in 2023 again, but there's a new piece to this puzzle. Great early reports on the new kid coming from Tulane, Cameron Carroll. Folks kind of wondered, why are we adding him through the portal when the big dogs were so good last year? But he runs incredibly hard. He is a veteran. And some of that very early highlights out of spring practice about him have been very impressive. I spoke to some people close to the situation, and they say that he looks like an early hit. UF may have a 3-headed monster back there instead of just Johnson and Etienne. The offense as a whole is going to center around running the ball. And remember, before Johnson and Etienne took control of the running back position last season, they rotated snaps with Naquan Wright. He actually started the first 4 games of the season last year and earned nearly 8 carries per game through about week 5 before adjustments were made to kind of give more carries to Johnson and Etienne because they were the more productive backs. This is a historical trend for Napier. 3 different running backs tallied 100+ rushing attempts in 2 of his 4 seasons at Louisiana as their head coach. This is a pattern. But also consider this. Last year, Anthony Richardson ran the ball a decent amount. So even after Naquan Wright stopped getting carries, Florida still really had kind of a 3-headed monster running the football. And now UF is going to need to replace those carries that AR had last year. Now, my guess is that Etienne and Johnson will still get the bulk of those carries. But I think there are going to be carries available for Carroll. They're going to be harder to come by, but they're going to find a way for him to contribute. He is a really productive player on the field. He was electric at Tulane. I think he has the ability to contribute in some capacity at UF, although obviously I expect Napier to ride whoever the hot hand is, and last season that was Johnson and Etienne. Another thing that makes me excited about these running backs is the offensive line depth. We talked a couple weeks ago with Shannon Schnell. He told us he thinks there are 11 or 12 guys that are capable and ready to be in this offensive line rotation. That is a lot more guys than Florida used in the rotation last year with a really, really strong and steady offensive line. So does that mean UF's offensive line production may be even better? Honestly, I think that it will be. I think their offensive line will be even more consistent than it was last season, and that's really saying something. I don't really worry about the quarterback position because of where Florida's sitting with the running backs and the offensive line. I don't think we need a quarterback to win games. Florida needs a game manager, and that's probably about it. And I don't think that people need to worry about UF being one-dimensional either. This is not a concern of mine at all. I'm not saying UF's going to run the ball 80% of the time, but they know they're going to have success on the ground, and that is going to open up the offense for other things. And teams knowing what's coming and teams being able to stop what's coming are two totally different things. Think about Alabama and Georgia as of late. And listen, I'm not saying Florida is going to be as productive as Alabama or Georgia on offense next season, but think about their offenses in the last few years. You knew that they were going to run the ball first. That didn't mean many teams were able to stop them, right? And I really do think that is what UF is going to have. They have two elite running backs. And I don't think the comparisons between Bama and Georgia and their running game are crazy. These guys are two future NFL stars on UF's roster. Our running game is going to be at that level. Again, I don't view it as one-dimensional. I view it as playing to your strengths. Florida has other weapons, right? And they will look to them. I think about Pearsall as one of those guys. But they don't need a quarterback to win games. The quarterback doesn't need to be elite for Florida to win. Quarterback is going to need to not make mistakes and be a game manager and rely on his weapons around him, mainly the running backs. UF is going to have a great offense in 2023, and it's absolutely going to center around their 2 or maybe 3 great running backs. We're excited about what we're hearing about both of these running backs and the offensive line. We're also excited to dive into the receivers soon, so make sure you're locked into the channel. You can access exclusive content by joining the channel as a member, and if you missed our last video about how UF is looking to embarrass FSU on the recruiting trail once again this season, you can go ahead and watch it by clicking right here.
Off, spinning Johnson's loose. There's the first down. 10-5. Johnson high steps it into the end zone. Touchdown, Gator. Richardson hands it off. Johnson running left. Ball swing into the end zone. Touchdown, Gators. Shane on 4th and 2. Outside, loose 30, 35, 40, down the right sideline. Good snap, hand it off, ETN, through traffic, in the end zone, touchdown. Hand it off, Johnson leaps for the goal line, did he break the plane? Yeah, ETN got a ball, first down, 30, left side of the numbers, 20, 15, 10, to the house, touchdown. Game. Johnson cuts it back in, 30,